So the world seems to think that doctors, physicians, dentists, physical therapists don't have anything to worry about when it comes to money. But I can tell you from experience that new docs have 5 common mistakes that they make with their money. And I'm going to walk through those with you today. So the first mistake that we see a lot of new doctors make with their money is going into forbearance during their residency. That's going into forbearance on their student loans. And so we know it can be tempting. During residency, you're not getting that big paycheck, you're not making very much money, and you know that you will be in a couple years down the road. So you feel like pushing your student loans down a few years won't make a big difference. But unfortunately, when you have your payments paused, your interest continues to accrue. So when you start paying your loans down the road, you have a much bigger amount that you need to be paying on. So what we always say is, if at all possible, try not to defer your student loans. Second big mistake that we see new doctors make, this is after residency, you get your first attending position, you get that first big paycheck, and you buy your dream home, your dream car or boat or whatever it is right away. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't splurge a little bit and celebrate your success by treating yourself. But you have to remember that your first couple of years of spending really set a foundation for your spending habits throughout the rest of your career. And so what you want to do in those first couple of years is rein it in a bit, think about what your real goals are, and spend accordingly. And that brings us to our third mistake that we see doctors make, and that's not making a budget or a spending plan right away. Now, as a new doc, you may be thinking, "Man, I'm never going to spend this much money. This is more than I've ever made, and I'm not really worried about setting a budget because I'm not worried about spending all of my money." However, I can tell you from experience that a lot of the doctors that we've worked with have thought that way and then gotten to the point where they want to start thinking about retirement and they wonder where all their money has gone. And so I just want to encourage you to think about your spending, think about your goals up front, and plan your spending accordingly. Now, the fourth mistake that we see doctors make is not getting the right amount or right types of insurance. So malpractice insurance is one thing that's probably a given for you. It may even be required by your state. But there's a couple types of insurance, life insurance and disability insurance, that we don't see all doctors get. Now, you have to remember that you have gone to however many years of school. You've worked really hard to perfect your craft and to become an expert in your field. And because of that, you and the skills that you have are your most valuable asset. Now, if something were to happen to you, or your ability to perform your practice, your income would be dramatically impacted. And because of that, life insurance will protect your family if something were to happen to you, and disability insurance will protect you and your family if something were to happen, if something were to change your ability to practice. Now, the fifth mistake that we see doctors make is actually kind of on the other side of the spectrum. Now, a lot of you are probably really good savers. You've been saving money your whole life, you know how to do that, but then when you start making money, you start building up this giant cash savings. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but there gets to a point where you want your money to start working for you. And a rule of thumb is to have 3 to 6 months of cash savings in what we call an emergency fund. And so that's 3 to 6 months of your living expenses set aside in case something were to happen to you, you lost a job or something like that. Anything over that, and you probably want to be investing in the market so that your money is working for you. Now, if any of these things that I talked about sound like you relate, if you want to talk to somebody about that, we actually have a plan set up just for you. So we have our financial roadmap, and in that, you actually get to work with a financial advisor one-on-one, someone like me or another advisor on our team. and define your top 3 financial goals or roadblocks that you're trying to overcome. After that call and data gathering period, your advisor will put together a plan for you with actionable, tangible steps to help you reach those goals. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'm putting a link below. Hit that and look into it more. Thank you so much for listening to us today. My name is Austin Costello. I'm with InvestRx, and I'll see you next time.